Maria Santos followed the same routine every night, quietly cleaning offices, collecting trash, finishing her work without being seen by anyone. But that Friday night, while cleaning CEO Jackson Mitchell's office, the torn documents she found in the trash can changed everything. When she pieced the documents together, what she saw shocked her. The company's biggest project was being sabotaged, and someone from the inside was doing it. Maria was just a cleaning staff member. No one would listen to her. But the evidence in her hands was so powerful that staying silent would cost millions of dollars. This wasn't just a cleaning job anymore. This was a battle to save the company. 43-year-old Maria Santos walked slowly but determinedly through the 23rd floor of Westfield Corporate Tower in the heart of Chicago. Every office she left behind was perfectly cleaned, every desk polished to a shine, every trash can emptied. Her hands were reddened from 15 years of detergent but strong, her back slightly hunched from cleaning work, but her shoulders straight and determined. This job wasn't easy, but Maria had no other choice to survive. She had come to America alone from Guatemala 18 years ago. She carried only a small suitcase, $200, and her growing baby Carmen in her belly. She didn't speak English, had no diploma, knew no one. But she had one thing: determination to work, the resolve to give Carmen a good life. The first years were very difficult. During the day, she washed dishes at a restaurant. At night, she did cleaning work, and on weekends, she cleaned houses. She slept 4 to 5 hours a day, saving money to send Carmen to daycare. But she never complained, never thought of giving up. When she started working at Westfield Corporate Tower, Carmen was 6 years old. This job had been salvation for Maria: regular salary, health insurance, weekends off. Now she could work just one job. Carmen could go to school, and Maria could spend more time with her. What she loved most about the night shift was the silence. During the day, hundreds of people rushed around these floors, talking on phones, holding meetings, making stressful decisions. But after 11 at night, this place became completely different: peaceful, calm, a quiet world under Maria's control. During those hours, she felt powerful, thinking that this big company belonged to her at night. Every night, she followed the same route, starting from the 20th floor, gradually going up. Each floor had its own scent. The 20th floor usually smelled like accounting, paper, toner, calculators. The 21st floor smelled like technology, electronic devices, metal, plastic. The 22nd floor smelled like marketing, perfume, coffee, stress. The 23rd floor smelled like management, expensive leather, heavy perfume, power. It was past midnight. Her last stop was CEO Jackson Mitchell's corner office. Cleaning this massive office always took at least 45 minutes. 400 square meters of space, private bathroom, small kitchen, meeting corner, huge desk. When she entered, the first thing that caught her attention was the unusual mess on the desk. Mitchell, as far as Maria knew him, was a very organized man. Everything was always in its place, his desk always clean, files always arranged alphabetically. But tonight the desk looked like a hurricane had passed through. Open files, scattered papers, a half-finished coffee cup, a removed tie, loosened shirt buttons. Must have had a difficult day, Maria murmured to herself. Mitchell's desk usually had very personal items too. Photos of his wife Jennifer, pictures of his 12-year-old twin sons Timothy and Christopher from school, family vacation photos. Maria was always careful when cleaning these photos, taking care not to damage them. These photos reminded her of her own family, Carmen. She started cleaning, first the windows. From the 23rd floor, Chicago's night view was magnificent. Lights, cars, the distant lake. Maria would sometimes stop and look at this view. One day Carmen will work in an office like this too, she would tell herself. But she'll be the boss, not the cleaning staff. Then she began cleaning the desk, being careful not to disturb the files, trying to put everything in its proper place. But when she approached the trash can, something caught her attention. There were much more paper scraps in it than usual. Normally Mitchell threw very little paper away. Usually just waste papers, empty coffee cups, sometimes used tissues. But tonight the trash can was full of paper. And these papers didn't seem randomly thrown away. Looking carefully, she noticed the papers were manually torn, not by machine. Someone had hastily torn these documents, trying to cover their tracks. Maria's curiosity grew. She had been in the cleaning business for 15 years, had cleaned thousands of offices. She had learned to notice people's behavioral patterns. This kind of hasty paper tearing usually meant trying to hide something, especially when it came to top executives. While emptying the trash can, one of the torn papers caught her attention. It read Project Phoenix, Confidential. Maria's English wasn't perfect, but she had learned a lot over the years. She knew these words. It meant secret project. Phoenix. Maria had heard this name before. In the company corridors, engineers and managers talked about this project. It seemed to be something very important. They had been working on it for 2 years. A lot of money had been spent. The company's future depended on this project. But the truly shocking thing was yet to come. Maria took the trash bag to her cleaning cart and began trying to piece together the torn papers on Mitchell's conference table. Shining her flashlight, she started putting the pieces together like a puzzle. This wasn't an easy job. Some pieces were very small, some were completely torn. But Maria was a patient woman. She helped Carmen with her school homework with the same patience. After 15 minutes, the document in front of her had left her stunned. This was an email exchange. At the top was the official Westfield email logo. From d.chen@westfieldcorp.com to competitor.info@rival-tech.net. Maria's heart began racing. Chen, David Chen, the company's finance director, a man in his 40s, always in suits, with a serious face. Maria had seen him in the corridors a few times. He never greeted, didn't even notice the cleaning staff. Here's the truly shocking thing. The content of the email was enough to shake Maria. Dear Mr. Morrison, all technical details and source codes of the Phoenix project are attached. I've also sent the marketing strategy that will launch your version exactly 1 week before the market launch. This way, Westfield's 2 years of work will be completely wasted and you will take the market share. According to our agreement, I expect you to transfer $2 million to the specified offshore account in exchange for this information. We'll meet again next week to discuss second phase plans. Respectfully, DC. Maria's breath was taken away. She had evidence of a plan to sell the company's biggest secret. David Chen, the trusted finance director, was selling out the company. But this was just the beginning. With trembling hands, she continued piecing together other paper scraps. The second document was even more serious. The $50 million budget allocated by the company for the Phoenix project will be gradually emptied through fake invoices and phantom consulting services. When the project is officially canceled due to technical inadequacy and budget overrun, all money will appear lost, but will actually have been transferred to our predetermined offshore accounts. We have 6 months for this operation. Maria slumped onto the desk. This wasn't just selling information. This was complete financial sabotage. David Chen was both selling critical information to rival companies and systematically stealing the project budget. The third paper piece had dates and plan details. Final phase, Monday, November 28th, Phoenix launch will be canceled. The market will perceive it as Westfield's failure. Dynamo Tech will announce their own version the same day. Today was Friday, November 25th. Only 3 days remained. The fourth piece was even more frightening. If necessary, accomplices ready to disable security systems. Zhang from IT department, Walsh from HR are already among us. No one will suspect. Maria's brain was working rapidly. This wasn't just David Chen's solo sabotage. This was a complete conspiracy, an inside gang operation. 3 department managers were working together, leading the company to destruction. The Phoenix project, as far as Maria knew, was a revolutionary technology project the company had been working on for the last 2 years. An artificial intelligence-based system, software that helped big companies analyze data and make decisions. If successful, Westfield would become the leader in the technology world. But if this sabotage was carried out, there wouldn't just be financial loss. Most of the company's 5,000 employees would lose their jobs. Maria herself was one of these employees. Carmen's school expenses, house rent, health insurance, all came from this job. But Maria was just a cleaning staff member. Who would believe her? Moreover, who could stand against a powerful man like David Chen? You haven't seen the biggest surprise yet. With trembling hands, Maria began photographing the paper pieces with her cell phone. Her phone was an old Android that Carmen had bought secondhand. The camera wasn't very good quality, but the documents were still readable. She carefully photographed each document separately. She also took general photos showing all pieces side by side. Then she very carefully put the paper pieces back in the trash bag, covering her tracks. No one should realize she had seen these documents. At least not yet. But there was a very big question mark in her mind. Did CEO Jackson Mitchell know about this? A second terrible thought made her shudder. These documents were found in Mitchell's trash can. What if Mitchell was also part of this sabotage? What if he was the real leader? Then Maria would be putting herself in great danger. She had to make a decision. And quickly, Maria began examining Mitchell's desk much more carefully. Normally, she wouldn't search this much while cleaning. She would just clean. But now the situation was different. On the desk were several financial reports with David Chen's signature. When Maria examined these reports, she saw that the budget allocated to the Phoenix project had decreased very strangely in the last 6 months. Every month, money had been transferred to other items under unclear headings like additional consulting costs, unexpected technical requirements, increased personnel needs. Maria didn't understand accounting, but these numbers seemed very suspicious to her. But most importantly, there was a small note written in Mitchell's own handwriting on the edge of the desk. Trust in Chen is gradually decreasing. Phoenix sabotage suspicion is now serious. Investigation report to be presented at Monday board meeting must be prepared. Consider getting help from private security firm. Maria felt great relief. Mitchell seemed innocent. He was even suspicious of Chen. So the CEO didn't know about this. On the contrary, he was preparing to investigate. But now there was another big problem. How would Maria reach Mitchell? How would she give him this critical information? Maria's job was the night shift. She had never encountered Mitchell in 15 years. Top executives rarely talked with cleaning staff. If she tried to make an appointment with his secretary, she would probably be seen as crazy. If she went to security guards, they wouldn't take her seriously either. But time was running very short. Monday, November 28th, only 3 days remained. Tuesday, the Phoenix project would be officially canceled. Dynamo Tech would launch their own version. Millions of dollars would be stolen. Thousands of people would lose their jobs. Maria was a smart woman. She had worked at this company for 15 years, had learned the systems. She knew Mitchell's working habits. She had learned from talking with other cleaning staff. Mitchell came early every Saturday morning, reviewed weekly reports in a quiet environment, made important decisions. His family usually went to their summer house in Wisconsin on weekends. Mitchell stayed in the city, focused on his work. Tomorrow was Saturday. That night when Maria returned home, she couldn't sleep at all. She walked around the small 2-bedroom apartment where she lived with her daughter Carmen until morning. Thousands of scenarios played in her mind. What if Mitchell didn't believe her? What if Chen's men threatened her? What if she lost her job? How would Carmen's school expenses be paid? Carmen was 16 years old, a senior in high school. She was a very smart girl, always got the highest grades in math and science. She would take university exams next year. She wanted to apply to MIT's engineering department. Maria had built her entire life around making Carmen's dreams come true. "Mommy, are you okay? You've been walking around since last night," Carmen said at breakfast. They spoke a mix of Spanish and English at home. "I'm fine, Mija, just work stress." "Work? What stress can there be in cleaning work?" Maria tried to smile. She couldn't tell her daughter the truth. Not yet. Sometimes big companies have big problems. "I'm just trying to be very careful." Carmen looked at her mother suspiciously. "Mom, you're hiding something. I can tell from your eyes." Maria sometimes forgot how smart Carmen was. "I'm not hiding anything. I'm just tired." But Maria's mind was working on other calculations. If she couldn't stop this sabotage, the company could go bankrupt. Thousands of people, including herself, could lose their jobs. But if she spoke up, she would also be taking a big risk. David Chen was a very powerful man, the company's finance director, a board member. Standing up to him wouldn't be easy. After Carmen went to school, Maria began developing her own plan. Saturday morning at 7 o'clock, Maria put on her best dress instead of her normal cleaning uniform. A dark blue skirt suit that Carmen had given her as a birthday present. She neatly arranged her hair, put on light makeup. She would come to Westfield Corporate Tower as a visitor this time, not as cleaning staff. When she entered the building lobby, weekend security guard Carlos recognized her. Carlos was a man Maria had known for 15 years. Their children had attended the same school. "Maria?" Today's Saturday, why did you come? Are you sick? No, Carlos. I forgot something very important upstairs in Mitchell's office. I'll just get it and go. Carlos looked suspiciously. In Mitchell's office? What did you forget? Maria gave her prepared answer. I might have dropped my cell phone while cleaning last night. If I lose it, Carmen will kill me. Carlos laughed. Ah, kids and their phones. Okay, go look. But be quick. You shouldn't be there when Monday staff arrive. Thanks, Carlos. As she took the elevator to the 23rd floor, Maria's heart was beating wildly. What would she say to Mitchell? How would she start? Would he believe her? Mitchell's office door was closed, but light was seeping through. There was a faint sound, keyboard clicking, phone conversation. Maria took a deep breath and knocked on the door. Come in, came Mitchell's voice from inside. Maria slowly opened the door and entered. Mitchell was at his computer, wearing weekend clothes, khaki pants, white polo shirt. His hair was messy. He was wearing glasses. When he saw her, he stood up in surprise. You, aren't you from the cleaning crew? Maria, isn't it? Yes, sir. I need to tell you something very important. Mitchell frowned, looking a bit worried. If it's about cleaning, you need to discuss this with your supervisor. No, sir. It's about the Phoenix Project and David Chen. These words shook Mitchell's entire body like an electric shock. He lifted his head from the computer screen, took off his glasses, walked toward Maria. The Phoenix Project? How do you know about this project? And what does David Chen have to do with it? Maria took out her phone with trembling hands. Last night, I found these torn documents in your trash can. I tried to piece them together. Mitchell took Maria's phone and began examining the photos. The color in his face gradually faded. His hands began trembling. This is David's email signature. Did you really find these documents in my trash can? Yes, sir. In your office trash can, in torn pieces. I tried to put them together like a puzzle. Mitchell was trying to enlarge the photos, carefully reading every word. Maria waited silently, watching Mitchell's facial expression. The CEO's face had a mixed expression of surprise, anger, and disappointment. You won't believe, but this is incredible, Mitchell muttered slowly. My trust in David had been decreasing, but I never thought he had gone this far, that he was running a complete gang operation. Maria gained courage. Sir, the documents say the Phoenix Project launch will be canceled on Monday. Only 3 days left. Mitchell stood up, began pacing nervously around his office. The project we've been working on for 2 years. $50 million investment. The effort of 300 engineers. 50 patent applications. Sir, I'm just a cleaning staff member, but I want to help you. Mitchell stopped, turned toward Maria. There was gratitude in his eyes. Maria, you probably became this company's savior. Without this information, we would have faced a major disaster Monday morning without knowing anything. Mitchell immediately took out his phone. First, I'll call the security manager. Then I'll call our legal counsel. I'll put David Chen and his accomplices under surveillance until Monday morning. Sir, I didn't do anything. I just noticed by chance while cleaning. Maria, you're very modest. Thanks to your attention and courage, millions of dollars in damage will be prevented. Thousands of people will be saved from losing their jobs. Mitchell began making phone calls. First, he called security manager Tom Rodriguez. Tom, we have an emergency. Put David Chen, Linda Walsh, and Robert Zhang under 24-hour surveillance. They shouldn't have access to any company documents, systems, or buildings. Second, he called legal counsel Sandra Lee. Sandra, I know it's Saturday, but you need to come urgently. We have an internal sabotage case. You need to inform the FBI too. Third, he called the private detective agency. This is Jackson Mitchell from Westfield Corporation. We have an urgent corporate investigation case. Send your best team. While Maria watched these proceedings, she noticed an important detail. The notes on Mitchell's desk weren't just about Chen. Various posts, it's read, Phoenix Team Security Screening, Urgent, Financial Flow Control, Suspicious Movements, IT Security Vulnerability Investigation. Sir, you were already suspicious of Chen and his team, weren't you? After Mitchell hung up the phone, he turned to Maria. Yes, Maria, I had growing suspicions for the last 6 months. Inconsistencies in financial reports, unexplainable expenses, mysterious decreases in Phoenix budget. But I wasn't expecting such organized, such systematic sabotage. So can we stop this sabotage? Maria, thanks to the concrete evidence you brought, We won't just stop it. We'll also deliver them to justice. We'll both catch Chen's gang and save the Phoenix Project. But there was one more thing Mitchell didn't know yet. That Chen wasn't alone in this sabotage, that he also had powerful supporters from outside. That Saturday, throughout the day, Mitchell held emergency meetings with security manager Rodriguez, legal counsel Lee, and the private detective team. The evidence Maria found was examined by professional teams. Chen's financial movements were investigated, IT systems were scanned. At 7 in the evening, Mitchell called Maria to his office again. This time security manager Rodriguez and legal counsel Lee were also in the room. Maria, thanks to you we've discovered very important information, Mitchell said. We learned that David Chen has transferred a total of $4.8 million to offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands over the last year. We also determined that he has regular meetings with Dynamo Tech CEO Harold Morrison. Maria's eyes widened. That much money? Rodriguez intervened. That's not all, Maria. Chen has encrypted messaging with Linda Walsh and Robert Zhang too. They're running a complete gang operation. Lee added. Walsh is leaking critical information from personnel files about key engineers, and Zhang is regularly disabling our security systems. So what do we do now? Maria asked. Mitchell smiled, but there was determination in his eyes. Monday morning we'll prepare a big surprise for them. But we have an advantage. They don't know they've been caught yet. Rodriguez added. Monday morning at exactly 9 o'clock, all three will be detained by FBI in their own offices. Maria looked worried. What if they try to escape? They can't escape, Maria. My security team is keeping them under 24-hour surveillance right now. Also, their passports have been frozen. Lee added. We also informed the FBI. This isn't just internal company sabotage, Maria. This is organized crime. Selling trade secrets to rival companies is a federal crime. Maria was surprised. FBI? Is it that serious? Mitchell nodded. Maria, you've brought down a multi-million-dollar crime gang. Chen and his team aren't just sabotaging Phoenix. They're also systematically stealing company resources. That evening when she returned home, Maria felt like a different person. She was no longer just an ordinary cleaning staff member working the night shift. She was the company's savior. Carmen noticed her mother was different at dinner. Mom, you're very different today. What happened? Maria wanted to tell her daughter the truth, but it was still too early. I just discovered something important at work, Mija. Everything will become clear Monday evening. What did you discover? Be patient, Carmen. I'll tell you everything Monday evening. Monday morning, Maria came to work at her normal time. But this time the atmosphere was completely different. Security guards were greeting her with great respect. Other cleaning staff were watching her curiously. Apparently, it was understood that something was happening. At exactly 9 o'clock, the operation began. When David Chen came to his office, 2 FBI agents were waiting for him. David Chen, you're under arrest. You're being detained on charges of corporate sabotage, financial fraud, commercial espionage, and establishing an organized crime group. At the same time, Linda Walsh was arrested the same way in the Human Resources Office, and Robert Zhang in the IT department. Maria watched this from the security center cameras. Mitchell had specially called her to the security center. Maria, you are this company's real hero, Mitchell said proudly. Thanks to your courage, 3 major criminals were delivered to justice. Security manager Rodriguez added, Maria, even the FBI praised the quality of your findings. Even a professional detective couldn't have collected better evidence. At noon, Mitchell organized a big company meeting. The main conference hall was packed. All employees, department managers, engineers, administrative staff. Dear employees, Mitchell said into the microphone. This weekend we prevented a very major sabotage attempt against our company. Our Phoenix project is safe. Your jobs are safe. Our company's future is safe. Tremendous applause rose in the hall. But this success was possible thanks to one person's extraordinary attention and courage. Maria Santos from our night shift cleaning crew, taking a great personal risk, warned us and saved our company. Maria had to come to the podium. 5,000 people were applauding, standing up. I just did the right thing, Maria said in a trembling voice. This company is my family. Everyone here is my family. The applause lasted exactly 15 minutes. Maria's eyes were filled with tears. Mitchell then made a special announcement. From now on, Maria Santos will continue working as assistant security manager. Her salary will be increased ninefold. She will receive full support for university education, and she will have a special office. The excitement in the hall peaked. But for Maria, what really mattered would be Carmen's reaction. That evening when Carmen came home from school, she saw her mother on television. Maria's story had become the main news on Chicago Channel 7. Cleaning staff member saves company from multi-million-dollar sabotage. MOM, you're on television, Carmen shouted. Maria smiled. Yes, Mija, now I'll tell you everything. After listening to her mother's entire story, Carmen hugged her mother in tears. Mom, you're my superhero. No, Carmen, you're my superhero. I did this for you. For your future. Now what you see is nothing. 6 months later, Maria Santos's life had completely changed. She no longer wore cleaning uniforms, but professional business attire. She had her own private office on the 23rd floor, exactly in the corridor where she used to clean. Working as assistant security manager, she was developing special protocols to prevent similar sabotage attempts. She was also organizing training programs on employee vigilance and security vulnerabilities. The Phoenix Project had been successfully launched, providing the company with $380 million in revenue in the first 6 months. David Chen and his partners were being tried in federal court. Each could face 25 to 30 years in prison. But Maria's greatest happiness was her daughter Carmen. Carmen had now been accepted early to MIT and would receive a full scholarship for engineering education. Mom, you didn't just save my life, but thousands of people's lives, Carmen had said. I'm so proud of you. Carmen, I'm still the same person. I just work in a different job now. A year later, Maria's story appeared in national media. Her interview was broadcast on 60 Minutes. Her story is taught as a case study at Harvard Business School. Sometimes the greatest heroes emerge from the most unexpected places, she had said in the interview. I did my job quietly for 15 years. But that night, I could have ignored the papers in the trash can. I didn't because I knew that wouldn't be right. Maria now gave speeches at national conferences on corporate security topics. Security isn't just technology and protocols, she would say. It's the human factor. Your employees' eyes and ears must be open, and you must provide a safe environment for them to speak up. 2 years later, Maria established her own consulting company, Santos Corporate Security. Her company provided consulting to major firms on internal sabotage, employee loyalty, and security culture. Her first major client was ironically Dynamo Tech, the formerly rival company. They had also faced a similar sabotage attempt and asked Maria for help. Apparently, sabotage wasn't just with us, but a widespread problem throughout the sector, Dynamo Tech CEO Harold Morrison had said. Without careful eyes like Maria Santos, most of us would have gone under. 3 years later, Maria's company was serving more than 150 companies on the Fortune 500 list. Incorporated magazine had selected her as Entrepreneur of the Year. But her greatest moment of pride was the day Carmen graduated from MIT. Carmen had said at the graduation ceremony, "My mother taught me the greatest lesson. Whatever job you do, be honest and keep your eyes always open. You can discover great truths from paper scraps in a trash can." Maria's eyes had filled with tears. "Carmen, I just paid attention. No, Mom, you were brave. You showed the courage to stand up against powerful people. And you showed me that in America, everything is truly possible." Mitchell is still one of Maria's closest mentors. Maria didn't just save the company, he says. She taught us how important employee engagement and security culture are. The Maria Santos security protocol is now implemented at Westfield Corporation. Every employee knows how to act when encountering suspicious situations, and reporting is encouraged. Maria taught us, says the current security manager, that real security isn't just in cameras and systems. It's in people's attention and courage. In Maria's office, her old cleaning uniform hangs framed. Below it reads, "Great discoveries arise from small attentions, MS." Carmen now works at Google as a software developer, running artificial intelligence projects. "My mother taught me that whatever job you do it the best way, and always stand on the side of what's right." Every evening, when Maria passes by the Westfield corporate tower where she used to work, she looks at the lights of the 23rd floor. The place that changed my life that night, she thinks. Now she's the CEO of her own company, but she still reminds herself every morning, "I was valuable when I was a cleaning staff member too." But when I spoke up, I could change the world. This story teaches us, whatever position you're in, keep your eyes always open. Sometimes the smallest details reveal the greatest truths. And to do what's right, you don't need to be in a high position. Just being brave is enough. Maria Santos was a hero when she was cleaning staff too, but when she spoke up, she discovered her real power. Because real power isn't hidden in position, but in character. And courage is always rewarded.